Hi, my name is Sarah Brockwell, and this is a video reflection over a website that we had to evaluate for disciplinary literacy course. And I stumbled upon this site rather quickly during a Google search. And what drew me to it was the name, and then knowing that with the .org at the end that it was going to be a reliable source, something educational. And just a quick glance through, I knew that this was one of the ones I wanted to evaluate, and then of course the more I got into it, the more I realized it was a really good site. And so we had to evaluate something that would possibly be beneficial to us as professional development or for our classroom use, or both. And this is one of those sites that I believe will definitely hit with both. And as a person going into education kind of later in life, something that I knew when I wanted to get into education was to focus in on literacy. I value literacy, but science is my thing. So I have really tried very hard to incorporate some of these things in my classroom, but I will say it's not an easy task. I want to start with the introduction. And so we're talking about the introduction, what is disciplinary literacy? It's one of those things that, like this hit me right here. When students enter middle and high school, their teachers expect that they have learned the basic skills and strategies for reading and comprehending text. I'm guilty. My fifth graders, I had no idea that they didn't even know how to use a textbook. And we were probably November before I realized that they didn't know how. And lots of questions, lots of whining, how do I find this? Where is it? What's the answer? It's too hard, and I would say, I'm not going to give you anything you can't find in your book. But then it dawned on me, they don't know how to use their book. And, even in fifth grade, I had kids that didn't know what a glossary was. So they didn't even know how to look in their book to even find a basic definition. So it's definitely something I've worked really hard in. And unfortunately, due to time, like I really think I should, but I do try to incorporate a lot of text and sometimes even more than one to really incorporate an idea. And so to talk about some of the things that I found, if you'll see here to the left, what is disciplinary literacy? All of this information about disciplinary literacy. As you see, the pages here to the left. But I kind of wanted to highlight things. I'm going to pick on science here because that's my thing. So science, they have math, science, English, and then history and social studies. So it's showing us how this is used through all the disciplines and not just one. And so, like I said, science, that's my thing. Big ideas in literacy. So we're talking about disciplinary literacy in science. And that's what I love about this, is that, no matter what content area you are in, you can find some information about and how to make it applicable, content that you teach. And I kind of wanted to show this too. Let me go back. The computer's really not wanting to operate. But reading in science, writing in science, you see, that's the biggest thing in science. Not only do we want students to be able to ask questions and, broaden the questions and knowing how to find the information, but it's also to write. It's also to evidence-based understanding, how scientists read, write, think. These kids can't think. And so I really appreciate all of the things that this website has to look at. I also wanted to show here at the top a section for professional development. There's also plans. The interactives are really good, as in showing some things about science. My internet is not really one to act very well, but I wanted to kind of show you some lesson plans that might not happen. So let's see if we pull up some science interactives. And so all of this does is show like some models, some strategy. Grade. I'm 5th grade, so here we got seas, robins, the bird nest, in the ecosystem. Like, we just went over ecosystems, and I hate that I'm finding some good information after we have, went over this. And so patterns is a big thing in the new generation, or the next generation science standards, something that was implemented starting this year, fully starting this year. But you know, to get any kind of resource and your lesson plan, I think, is always going to your students. So I just I hope recognized the website up here, www.learner.org, and hopefully you can find and be able to navigate and find some things for your use. But it is popping up rather slowly, but as you'll see, there's many sessions here, and you can always go. We have an introduction, a closer look, children's ideas, featured classroom, teacher in school, lesson and curriculum, reflecting on your teaching. So there's several things that you can still access here. So 2 thumbs up for this site. Definitely meets the criteria for our assignment, but also definitely meets the criteria for something to put in my little black bag of teaching ideas. So good luck, and thank you very much.